Hello, this is my placement video for the 40 or so days I've spent volunteering at an adventure tourism place in downtown Sarajevo. Bosnia, I think, is quite an interesting country personally, but I think it's quite an interesting country for the type of adventure tourism that has been produced post-war. There was a war here from 1992 to 1995, and obviously you can still see these sort of scars on the land of that now, but 30 years afterwards there's been the real push to bring more people into the country, not for war tourism, which means that there's lots of people coming here for hiking, mountain biking, kayaking, and then obviously in the winter, more deep winter, the winter sports of skiing, snowboarding, and bobsleigh. Bosnia hosted the Winter Olympics in 1984, and prior to the war happening was quite a big hotspot for adventure tourism, because there's tons of mountains around here, which means the hiking's quite good. And also all the cities are situated in the mountain ranges, which means that all of these groups had like a really good base to commute from. What I ended up doing for the volunteering I did here was sort of being number two to any of the guides. So that involved dropping people off at trailheads, earwigging in on how risk assessment is done, which I'll circle back to, and sort of helping facilitate these groups going out into the mountains. One of the main things I've observed is the quite different relationship the Bosnians have with risk. And the only real thing I can compare it to is any of the big hiking areas in the UK, there is not very many things that can hurt you which aren't the environment, which don't pose a risk to you. Since 2021, the areas around Sarajevo are mine-free, which has meant that all the hiking routes have sort of exploded with popularity. It's really busy at the moment. But the facilitators still teach in a way as if that isn't the case, which I think is quite interesting for the reinforced, this is how we do it, and I've done it for 20 years that way, and I'm not really going to change even if the environment has. There's also wild dogs, wolves and bears, which again we don't really have in the UK, so slightly different risks there. Lots of these things have led to the experience being one where quite often I've had my own views challenged on, oh no, why do you guys still do it this way? Maybe not as confrontationally as that, but it's been quite an interesting experience to just see how a situation produces a certain teaching style, rather than teaching being refined or trial and error or anything like that. There's definitely this is the environment we deal with, therefore we teach in this way. And there's not been any reason to change that, because why would you? So throughout the touring, it's been mountain biking, so driving around with a trailer with a bunch of bikes on, which was around Mostar. And around Sarajevo, it's lots of hiking, as the mountain I'm filming on right now is, Mount Trebević, which is where the Winter Olympics were hosted. So all around the mountain you can see the abandoned bobsleigh tracks, which is quite cool. I think the experience, all in all, has given me a taste of adventure tourism, which I think quite rarely we see or we are aware of when it's happening, because lots of interactions you'll have volunteering at a place in the UK is all British people who live nearby, and I don't think we have a strong international pull. Whereas somewhere like Bosnia, maybe because it's continental Europe, there's a lot of Italians and Germans, and dealing with other languages and also trying to work out what other people want to get from an experience has been quite a challenge in a positive way. because not everybody wants the same thing. And I think that was mainly the main aim, was just to get a taste of that. So I think that's been done quite well. I'm just trying to think of anything else that I need to mention. Any thoughts? I think I would recommend people on having this side of an experience, maybe, as Lebanon, I want to say, was people were already there and knew what they wanted. Whereas working on the sort of front desk of a tourism bureau, there's lots of people there who don't really know what they want. And it's your responsibility to sort of guide them in a way and work out, oh, what's their skill level? Where do they think they go, and direct them in a way that helps them. I think I'm beginning to ramble, which probably means I've said enough. But I think this was a really valuable placement to get the other side of it, is mainly what I'm trying to say. Yeah. Thank you for watching.